Welcome to the show. Today we're tackling a big issue many Go high-level users face: getting SMS and WhatsApp messaging to work smoothly in markets with tricky regulations or access issues. Our guest, Gary Capps, who's the CEO of My CRM SIM, with an innovative solution you'll want to hear all about. Well, great, Gary. So, let's just dive right in. Gary, can you explain a little bit about what you're seeing are some of the pain points that high levelers, or maybe even some of the other CRMs or systems that you support, what they're experiencing around the world with communications now in 2025?
Yeah, so there's like three challenges that we see with clients at the moment. So basically people in the US and also the UK as well. So with A2P, so they've got regulations that they have to go through to get their SMS messaging allowed, basically to go through. And then even once they do get it allowed, there's A2P compliance, and then sometimes they just get shut down.
You mean get approved, right? They have to get the number or their lines
approved to allow their business to actually send text messages out. And then even once they've managed to get approved, because of the regulations that monitor them, sometimes they'll just get shut down, and not even for necessarily doing the wrong thing. But there's a very low opt-out rate, for example, so like a 1% opt-out rate, and they can just get shut down for that, or just using the wrong word. We've had clients who got shut down for that. We've seen clients that have been.
So you mean they will just shut down the whole telephone line, right? They cannot do any more messaging, right?
Yeah,
the carrier or the government will just block their line from sending or receiving, right?
Yeah, we had a client that came to us. He was using a Twilio number, and his client was called, I forget the full name, but Sarah Blunt. And in the text message they were sending to them, they were confirming their details, and they had, hi Sarah, your details are Sarah Blunt, confirm your address, etc.
Oh, and Blunt was the keyword.
Blunt was the keyword because it's attributed to marijuana and CBD, and they shut his account down because of that. And he was like, but this is their name. And
so now your solution addresses this pain point, right? Like in terms of being shut down or losing your number, or not even being able to get the number, right? Get approved for a number. That's where your product, My CRM SIM, comes in, right? That's the pain point that you're solving.
So that's one of them. So the A2P and the barriers to entry for that. Mm-hmm. The other one would be cost. Outside of the US, people are not even aware of that. People in the US are not aware of the cost of SMS for a lot of countries outside. Like, it's very expensive for a lot of countries, like Australia, where we are now at the SaaSpreneur event. Like, it's I think it's 6 US cents per message through Twilio, which is about 9 Australian cents per text message, which is expensive. And then you've got other countries where they can't even get a number through Twilio. So the standard application that integrates into HighLevel, they can't get a number. So that's the three problems, like A2P issues or registration, cost, or just not even being able to get a number. And then we solve all that by allowing people to send text messages through a mobile phone and a SIM card, because everybody can get a SIM card and a phone. So,
well, wait a minute. So now you're saying that, like, if you're in high level, right, you might have Twilio, where you just go in and get your phone number, and then maybe you register with your legal requirements to, get A2P approved to be able to send if you're in the US. But you're saying your system is not inside high level. It's a separate system that integrates into high level, right?
Correct. So we're a third-party application that integrates into HighLevel, and then we're like a bridge between HighLevel and then the device, which would be a phone and the SIM card, to allow them to send their messaging out through that. So
right. So if you're in high level, when you have the integration, then it just works the same as if you were on Twilio or Lead Connector. You don't even notice. It's seamless. It's just a different way different channel that those messages are going through.
Correct.
Right?
It's a tick of a button in HighLevel.
And there's no registration. There's the cost issues are lower, right? That's what.
Correct, because you can buy a SIM card. So depending on the country, wherever you are, but like in Australia here, I can buy a SIM card for $60 a year. So that's
with unlimited messaging, you mean?
It's unlimited. They do have caps, so like they're unlimited according to their fair use policies. You can't buy an unlimited SMS plan and then send 1 million text messages in a day. They don't quite work like that. Yeah. So there is, they all sell.
Well, I mean, that actually brings a good point, right? What is the sort of the target customer? Like, who is this really good for? Like a big enterprise where they need to be sending, like you were saying, hundreds of thousands of messages per day? Or are we talking more for sort of like the smaller business that's maybe sending, I don't know, maybe 100 per day.
Yeah, so smaller to medium business, it's not ideal for enterprise clients. So if you've got to send thousands and thousands of text messages a day, that is possible. You can do it through our system. We do have some clients doing that because we allow you to integrate and add additional SIM cards. So you can add as many SIM cards as you want to an account. So you can send thousands of text messages a day if you want to. Typically though, they're more enterprise clients, so they're not so worried about the cost unless they're having some kind of A2P issues or they can't get a number. They're the ones that do come to us. But yeah, typically, small to medium sized businesses, which is a lot of the GHL.
And about how many messages per day would we be talking about?
So we say if you're sending with a SIM card, like maximum of about 1 per minute. So across a 10-hour period, you're looking at about 600 a day off of one SIM card. There are some SIM plans where you can kind of do a bit more than that. There's some that can do a bit less. But if you average it out and say, look, max you could do through a SIM card is about 600 a day.
Well, now you're talking about SIM cards here, Gary. And, as a HighLevel user, right? Like HighLevel doesn't have any place I can connect in a SIM card. So how is this SIM card working? Like, what is that? Like, there must be a whole nother package now related to the SIM card. How do we get a SIM card into HighLevel?
It's literally your phone. So we just have made it as simple as possible to connect a phone to HighLevel. That's our integration. So as long as you can send text messages off of the phone, then you just connect that.
So I just use my iPhone, like I just use the phone I have, or I just get a special phone just for this?
Currently, right now, it's Android only. Literally, we have beta testing at the moment for iMessage. So iPhones will be available in the next couple of weeks. So probably by the time even this comes out, we will have iMessage working as well.
Well, that's great. So, but I mean, ideally, you should have a special phone just for this application, right? For having this SMS messaging. I wouldn't be using the phone I go around town with, right?
Generally, we recommend a separate number because you want a business number. You want to kind of separate that stuff out as well. A lot of phones these days have the ability to add dual SIM in there, so you could have your personal SIM card and then you could have a business number in there, and it's all through the back end of our stuff. We do make it very simple, but you can just attach the SIM card that you want. So you've got a dual SIM phone, take one of those SIM cards and attach that one to our system, and then you can just use that phone.
I mean, Gary, I had to say, this sounds very complicated. So how do you make it easy for everyone?
We've just taken out all the hard work. So we did this for our agency. So where we came from with this is like, we're in Australia, we had clients and we're doing SMSing for them, and it was expensive. And also it was challenging to explain to clients like the usage fees of stuff as well, because as they're sending out text messages, like they don't understand that one text message is not necessarily one text message. And what I mean by that,
it's character count, right?
Exactly. So you get like that 160 characters. If they send out 170 characters or
an emoji is a multiple
exactly,
characters, right?
Like it bloats it out. So now their one text message that they see is actually charged as two
or maybe even three.
So we put in SIM cards into our agency like years ago. We've been doing it for a long time. But what we saw was that, other agencies were looking for other options as well. So we took what we had and just made it as simple as possible. So it's literally like 5 steps through installing our app into your HighLevel account, putting our app onto a phone, and then just syncing the two together. There's like 6
You've
steps
got like some snapshots, I think or maybe you're even got something in the marketplace where you load it all to do the integration, facilitate the integration into HighLevel.
Snapshots are separate, so that's separate to our integration. Is like just go through, install the app, click. That's really simple. Snapshots is a lot of stuff that we help to provide. So we want to help train. It's not just texting. So this is the important part that we try and help to educate our client base with, right? So whether you're on Twilio, another provider, whatever, doing SIM cards, so many people have challenges with their texting and not understanding like the difference to communicate through text message or the way to do it correctly and not be a marketer. All right. And what I mean by that is like people sending out their messages. It's like, hey, Nick, here's our offer this week. Here's the link to buy it. Right. And that's what people send out. All right. But
well, that's easy, right? That's a common thing.
And I want people to think, right, if you're sending out text messages, even en masse, we're using HighLevel, we've got workflows, we can distribute text messages quickly to a lot of people. Consider that you're sending that text message to one person. Even though it's going to 1,000 people, I'm writing a text message to you. We personalize it, you can customize it, you can do all that great stuff in HighLevel. But just think, I'm having a conversation with one person. Even though it's 1,000 people, you'll get better results, better deliverability. Everything will just work more seamlessly if you follow a good framework. And that's the other stuff we provide to people. It's not just our tech. We just provide heaps of free training, snapshots. We have.
I think you're doing sessions, workshops every week now, right, Gary? Bringing guests on, talking about a lot of, not only SMS messaging, but also like digital marketing, online marketing type.
Digital marketing, your presence, how you brand yourself, like talking with authenticity, how to run ads. Like we just try and help all our agencies to get all that stuff.
Well, what countries would you say are around the world are the ones that seem to be having the biggest uptake with your service?
US has had a big uptake lately because of all the issues with A2P and the fact that they changed so you can't use 1-800 numbers anymore without A2P. So that did bring a big uptake to our business. But outside of that, a lot of Europe, anything outside of America, outside of the US because of the cost. Mm-hmm. So UK, European countries, Australia, and then New Zealand as well. New Zealand's a small country, small population.
New Zealand's got a lot of uptake.
Small, high-level user base, right? But they've got a big uptake because they couldn't get text messaging working before because there was no ability through Twilio. Yeah. So we solved that problem for them. So we have a big client base in New Zealand as well.
Well, one of the things that I see, and I'm not even sure if your solution can address this pain point, but I'm seeing a number of people who want to be able are from abroad, but want to send text messages to people in the US. And they have a very hard time getting the A2P approval for that because I think they need to have a US company or an LLC or something to be able to register properly for that. So then they, are sort of out of luck. So would they then be able to, let's say they were based in Europe or in the Middle East or something, and then they wanted to send messages to the US, would your system be able to help them with that?
Yeah, so that will all work off of your SIM card in your plan. So
you just have to get a SIM card from the US, right?
Not necessarily. So you can buy a SIM card, and as long as it will allow you to do international SMS, then that will work. So we do that. Like we just use an Australian number in our company
for texting to the US.
For texting to the US, we just use that same number, okay? Because it's easier. We just have an international plan for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So we do know one that you can do for the US.
Why do people want to text? Like, why don't we just send email, or why don't we just do DMs? Like, what's so critical about SMS messaging?
Great question, because everybody's got a phone. It's in your pocket, right? So think about email, right? If you send out an email, like people are pretty chuffed if they get a 20% open rate these days, right?
Yeah,
that's a good open rate.
I'll tell you, it's not easy to get them open. Yeah.
That doesn't mean they've even done anything. That means that maybe they clicked on it, maybe they didn't,
It could have been a bot opening it too.
Exactly, right? But that doesn't mean that they even looked at it and clicked on the link or the offer or read it or did anything, right? If you got 20% open rate, people are cheering. They're like, hey. Across our platform, we send now across all our users about 1 million text messages a month across all our users, right? Across those, right, there's obviously a huge amount which you're not even expecting replies for. So just like appointment reminders, whatever they might be, right? And then there's other stuff which you do expect replies on. So given that we have a wide variety of text messages, about 1 million a month, across the entire platform, we have an almost 20% reply rate. So that's people actually responding to the text message that they've received. So that's...
Wow. So because I don't think the emails are getting 20% reply. They're not even getting 20% opening, right?
Exactly. So
I think I heard some numbers that like 95% of the messages that come through in an SMS are opened.
Yeah, it's something.
And like the majority, I think maybe 97% of those that are opened are replied to within 5 minutes.
If they're going to reply, or they're opened within 5 minutes. 97%.
They're opened within 5 minutes.
Not necessarily applied in 5 minutes. So the reply rate, but the reply rate will differ depending on what the message is and what you're sending out and so on and so forth. But that's what I mean. Like, if you take that across our platform, 1 million messages, and they're so varied, to have a 20% reply rate across text message, that's why you want to go.
So they're using either SMS on the phone carrier or the WhatsApp for those transactions. But then there's also sort of the marketing ones where they sort of do the big blast, right? Where I think the ones where you're telling me buy my product, here's the link.
Buy my product, here's the link. Like if people do that, they're not doing a great job. We still see, we're trying to educate our users on that.
So what are you educating them to do? To do more transactions, or to do more marketing, or just to do better marketing?
I would say to do better marketing, because it depends what their use cases are.
Yeah.
Right? What are they using it for? But we want to do better marketing. And whether it's transactional or like a marketing message, I still want it to be conversational. It should still be conversational. It's so easy to do now, especially with like I said, I think
with AI, right? Can recommend you how to make those messages.
Yeah, we put together a GPT for people, like for a follow-up sequence and DBRs. Like they can go in.
What's that DBR? Database reactivation, right? which I guess just briefly to explain to the audience, that's where you have a list, right? And that list you haven't been using for a while. Maybe you send a message to someone, hey, we've got a coupon here that's left over.
Yeah.
You want to pick it up? You come on in. You can come in for a discount tomorrow for 20%.
Yeah,
right?
come in or book an appointment. Like we have great success stories of that. Like, so one of our clients, they came on board and he was he's selling real estate deals off the plan type stuff, and he had a list of about 2,500 like customers that he hadn't spoken to for a long time. He'd like
this wakes him up, right?
He set all that up. He spent.
You mean that the AI will answer the response? Is that what you're talking about,
exactly.
right? Like, so
it
if they
has a
reply back, the AI,
that's all doing it for you. Right?
Because I've heard a number of people say, well, we don't have time to be answering all these SMS messages.
You don't need to.
So, I know if you're in HighLevel, they have, the conversation AI that can automatically be replying. So does that sync into my CRM SIM too, or?
That will work as well. So like we give you free bots, the conversational AI will work in there. We work with other bots as well. So like Closebot and Bryce and those guys. So that will work.
So there are a whole number of options. Everything integrates with you, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I guess, is there like plans? Like, do you have limits of how much you can do? Or like plan A, you get a certain amount of text. Plan B, you get more text, or you have like the totally unlimited option. How does the pricing work?
So we don't charge for text. Like we don't have a pay per use model. We just charge per sub account that you attach to. So we have plans. So like a $97 plan will allow you to attach 10 sub accounts. $297 plan will allow you to do 50. $497 plan is unlimited. We don't have a pay per use model. So there's no reselling. There's no rebilling like Twilio. And then you get your SIM card, and then.
So if I was an agency and I had like, let's say 50 sub accounts, maybe 30 of them needed this, then I just get the plan that would allow me to have 30 of my customers could be getting their SMS messages going through your system, and we maybe not even telling them anything about this, right? Like the customer doesn't need that. Who needs to get the Android phone with the SIM card? The sub account or the agency?
Depends. We have clients that do both. So
well, but I mean, if I have 30 sub accounts, right, and then do I need to get 30 Android phones and 30 SIM cards, or I just get one that handles it all?
No. So you need one SIM card per sub account. You can use dual SIM phones.
Okay.
So you can have one phone with 2 SIM cards in it and attach one to each sub account.
So if I understand this right, I get one account with you. Maybe it can handle 30 sub accounts, but then it can basically, that means it handles 30 Android phones or iPhones, whatever phone it is, with the SIM card in it.
Correct. Yeah.
And then those 30 SIM cards are what come in through your plan at that level. Yep. And then that all syncs into those sub accounts, right?
Think of them like an SMS modem or a Wi-Fi router. That's what it is. It's like, to get your internet, you need a modem, right? And if your modem's on, you'll get internet. If your modem is off, you won't get internet. It's the same thing. So then you just get a phone.
So what concerns do you hear from some of your customers who are sort of evaluating this solution? What are some of the common concerns that you hear from people? Like, like, is this for real? Or am I going to get shut down? Are going to what kind of things are people concerned about?
The main concern that people generally have is around getting phones. They're like, oh, I don't want to have 50, 100 phones, whatever it might be. That's what I say, like getting dual SIM phones is a really good option, because then that halves the number that you need.
Oh, okay.
Or you just get the clients to take them anyway. Like, you can set them up for clients and give them to client. We have white label instructions for all of that stuff as well. So it's like, get the clients to get them to get the phone, explain to them, say, hey, you need a phone, you need a SIM plan.
If you want to do it, this is what we recommend.
Yeah, it's
working very well.
It's an option at the end of the day. So.
Well, all right. So, just before we wrap up, like, Gary, is here we are in 2025. We see a lot of regulation coming into these, this SMS messaging around the world, right? Kind of toughening up. Like, where do you see this going? Communications with SMS, other like WhatsApp, DMs, like all this messaging. Where do you kind of see it going for the future, particularly with respect to CRMs?
I think it's just going to be more and more important at the end of the day. I think text messaging is going to be more and more important, because that's how people want to communicate. Now, people don't want to have a phone call. Like, people, they're trying to.
They don't want to wait on hold, right?
They don't want to wait on hold. They don't want someone ringing them up.
Talk to an idiot.
They don't even want to ring the company. Like, they just want to have a text, because people don't want to feel pressured. They don't want the pressure of a salesperson trying to talk them into something. They don't want to spend their time on the phone. Like, they just want a text message. So texting is it's the channel for people, and I think that's going to get more prolific.
Well, we got 178 appointments in 10
Like,
days.
as in the campaign running, and then booked into his calendar for the coming weeks.
Well, it sounds like your system's doing some magic here, Gary.
Yeah. Well, he did the magic. He used the system. We provide the system.
So, I mean, I don't know if you reveal this publicly, but I mean, about like, how many customers you are you getting up to now? Like hundreds? You got thousands of customers?
We've got hundreds of agencies, thousands of end users.
And millions of messages, right?
About 1 million text messages a month going through our
A
platform.
million a month?
Yeah, we've done 5 million in total since we launched, which is a little bit over a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And now in the last couple of months, we are hitting pretty much 1 million a month.
And happy users, right? Happy agencies, happy customers.
Happy, and we're trying to help them and educate them, get them on the SMS journey. And that's a big part of what we try and do. Like, we provide the tech, but they've got to know how to use it, use the right languaging, use our tools, use our GPT, use our snapshot, everything that once you've got our platform, we give you everything beyond that to try and help make sure that you've got like a successful
in the
journey.
workshops, right? And I guess, what about support? Like, how they get support?
We've got 24/7 real life humans. So I'm very big, like AI is very important. You touched on that, like who wants to be replying to text messages? AI bots are amazing, but I'm also very big on human support. So we actually have real life 24/7 human support on our website. We have a support team. You can book into Zoom calls and jump on a one-on-one. We have a ticketing system, obviously they can email into that.
And to onboard the same way, right? Get you set up.
Onboard if they need help with that. We run weekly open office hours as well, so I'm there with my team. People come to that.
Mm-hmm.
We run training and education sessions with other.
Well, I've been seeing it, Gary. I know you're working very hard.
Yeah, like I really think that personal approach is really important. We have the age of AI. AI is amazing. I support the full use of that in various areas, but we also have to have a good human connection as well, and we really work hard to do that to work with our agencies and our customers.
Well, as we close up here, Gary, I want to give you a chance to talk to the audience, and just a lot of times folks like you really wish that people coming in knew something in particular. So what is it that you would like people who are considering this service to know in advance? Like, do you wish everybody knew this before they came into your company and started the service? What would that be that you wish they all knew?
I wish they all knew about and I'm just going to go back to the thing I did say before, which is just that human connection. Just connect with your customers, be real, be authentic, use good languaging, and just talk to one person. You're talking to many, but talk to one person. Imagine when you're sending out that text message to 1,000 people, that you're actually sending it to one person, and get them to communicate with you. And you can use AI to do that, communicate back to them, but have a conversation with one person, and that will spread across 1,000 people. And if you do that and communicate well with your clients, focus on their needs, then you will win the game, basically. And just be consistent with that. That's what I want people to do, and I want to help people to make sure they do that.
Well, Gary, you and your team are doing a great job, okay? And it's great to see how your company has been, experienced a lot of success over the last year or so. I remember I saw you about 6 months ago over in Dallas, and I know you've been continuing to grow, continuing to add more people in, and they're coming from all over the world, right? It's you'd be surprised sometimes you're getting people contacting you from countries you didn't even know about, right?
That's one of the funny things. They contact me and they're like, "Hey, what SIM plan should I buy in?" So the more feedback, like feedback is so important to us. Like, we thrive on feedback, iteration, feedback. Everything we can get back from our users, we feed that back in. Everything we learn from our users, whether it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it is, we feed that back to our users. Just go, "Hey, this is what's working, guys. This is how we can help you." So stay in touch, stay connected, follow what we do, and then we'll help you.
Great. That's a wrap. If SMS or WhatsApp messaging inside HighLevel has been a challenge, Gary Capps and My CRM SIM may be exactly what you need. You'll find our full review and resources, as well as a discount code, linked in the show notes below. Thanks for tuning in.